What's up, YouTube? It's RZ. I'm over here in the Gobuku Studios, and today I'm going to be talking about Fire Force Episode 9 called The Spreading Malice. This episode has a lot of action, and we actually get opened up to what seems to be the bigger villain of the entire anime. So I'm really curious, at least for this first season, so I'm really curious as to what we're going to see in the future. But as far as this episode goes, let's get right into talking about it. We start off with a recap of the last episode. You know, Tamaki's getting beat up by Rekka. Again, it's pretty sad. They even replay that whole crying scene. But we do see more to that, where Tamaki clearly has been looking up to the three lieutenants. She's always followed in their footsteps, kind of like they're, big brothers. She just looks up to them, not in a romantic way, but more so just she wants to be like them. She wants to be powerful. She wants to show everyone, she can be a really good fire soldier or fire force soldier. So you see Rekka back then, because this is like a past flashback with the four of them. Rekka's always been very, reckless. The dude always goes in and he makes sure that he's in front of the pack at all times, that, he's never falling behind. No one, that he's always basically just the one going out and doing the job before everyone else. He always tells Kareem, hey, I know you got my back. And that comes into play later. And the other dude, Yan Li, I'm just going to call him that, the yellow-haired guy. I don't know his actual name, but Yan Li is just easy to remember, so I'm going to use that. He's kind of there with them, and the three of them take on a few Infernals. And yeah, that's pretty much just going back to show us the, family aspect of the four of those people. Luckily, Rekka isn't knocked out by that one kick from Shinra in the last episode. He actually gets back up and begins to fight Shinra, and it's a very, very good fight scene. Like, honestly, I wouldn't rate it as a top 10 or anything like that, but it's really intense. The sound effects they use for the flames, oh man, I love it. It sounds like something's about to just boom explode, like a blast wave or something. I love it. We hear Rekka saying "my stars," like he yells it. It reminded me a lot of, if any of you have played Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, it reminds me of that dude a lot. And I was just laughing my ass off. I'm like, oh man, here we go again with the Resident Evil 3 stuff. But yeah, Rekka's clearly in love with stars, the concept of stars and everything about them. He even says back in the flashback that I mentioned earlier that, my stars will protect me or something like that, or my stars will protect everyone, so don't worry about it, even though clearly that's not the case. During the fight, we find out more about Rekka's, motives, what exactly he's trying to do here. There's something called evangelism, which essentially, we'll learn more about it later, or I'll talk more about it later, but he's just saying that certain insects are compatible with certain types of flames. And what do we find out about Shinra based on one of the insects that Rekka has? Well, Shinra has the power of soul. He has the fire power of soul. They specifically call it the Adola Burst, which is an interesting name. I don't know what that means. I didn't actually look it up, but it must be pretty powerful because he's able to match a lieutenant. Shinra's going toe-to-toe with a lieutenant, holding his own, not doing much. Sure, he didn't do much to Burns in the previous two episodes, but at the end of the day, clearly he has some type of potential within him that he can use to, go crazy and actually overpower opponents that to most people would be way too tough for them to even handle. And Rekka figures this out. He's like, you're compatible with this bug, so I'm gonna get it inside of you, and I'm gonna pretty much get what I want. Throughout the fight, we get some more fan service with Tamaki. I honestly thought it was pretty funny how Rekka punches Shinra. He goes right into her freaking boobs. And then I'm like, oh man, this guy's crazy. We do see a Hajima Industries thing in the factory. I don't know if that was just, a background thing or whatever. But that fan service happens a few times. And I'm like, oh man, it's funny at this point. It's clearly meant for comedic relief. But eventually, Tamaki tells Shinra, please defeat him. Please, I'm done with this guy. I've looked up to him and he lied to me and everything. So she has her tone, the words, the way she speaks the words just says it all. And I really like that, how Shinra is able to fulfill the promise by continuing the fight. What does Shinra do though? He figures out that, Rekka's pretty good on the ground. He's really good on the ground. He has heavy firepower. He has a special move he called Starfish Jab, and it's like a super flame punch. It's pretty much just a flame punch. So it's cool to see the fist versus Shinra's feet clashing with one another. And Shinra realizes, oh, Rekka can fight on the ground, but I'm more mobile. I can fly with my freaking fire feet. So let me go up and attack him from above, and he won't even be able to know that it's coming. And that's the way that Shinra goes about his strategy, and it ends up working for him. You know, he does get his ass kicked in the beginning, but once Tamaki tells him to start fighting, he goes in the air. He starts kicking Rekka's ass. Like, it's just boom, hit after hit after hit, and they're impactful hits. And Rekka continues to say my stars over and over again. I'm like, oh man, this guy's literally gone crazy. And finally Shinra knocks him down, but it seems as though he's out of breath after the fact. Tamaki goes over to save the kids, and you see that Shinra's out of breath, and they introduce us to the concept of overheating, which essentially, think of it like you're on a cooldown, or if you fire a machine gun for too long, it can overheat and you have to let it cool down. The way it works in this universe is the flames that these third generation fire soldiers can use, they're essentially using the oxygen within their body. I don't really know how that works because you're breathing in oxygen at all times, but whatever. So once you run out of that oxygen, you kind of overheat, and you're short of breath. You can't really use your fire powers too much to fight anymore, and that's kind of what Shinra did. He used most of his firepower because he flew over to the warehouse, then he started fighting right away, and most of it just made him get tired. So it's interesting to see that's a concept, and maybe I wonder if that'll affect people in the, maybe there'll be people who are really powerful but they can only use one move before they overheat, or other things like that could come into play in the future. That'd be pretty cool. The Rekka's down, but he's not out. He gets back up totally bloody and everything, and he does what any villain would do, explains the master plan, how he's working for these higher people called I guess evangelics, I suppose was what they are, and their goal is to turn the entire planet into a second sun. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty deep. That's why he wants to turn everyone into infernals, because, if everyone's fire on there, it'll be as hot as the sun. It'll be a second sun. Boom. I don't really know the main concept. I think that's more so Rekka's, I guess, take on it. Like, he wants everyone to, he just loves stars so much, and the sun is obviously a star. So he's like, let me join these people because that's what I want to do. There's probably a bigger motive at the top of whoever's running this, evangelic stuff. But Shinra puts two and two together, saying, hey, look, Rekka's been working, he's been trying to find kids that are compatible with these things. Maybe he's responsible for his brother, Shinra's brother, disappearing all those years ago. I'm wondering if that's the case. It probably is going to play more into it, but Shinra gets pretty pissed. He can't really do much about it. But who comes to save the day? Mr. Kareem freezes Rekka's arms, because Rekka's about to go do a starfish jab again. Freezes Rekka's arms, freezes pretty much his whole body. He becomes encased in ice, and I was like, oh man, Kareem just coming in to save the day. He brings back the line of, I've always been behind your back, I got your back. And finally, pretty much it bit him in the ass, and Rekka's frozen solid, cannot move whatsoever. And Kareem comes in, and it's not long after though that Rekka gets killed, not by anyone in the building, because Yan Li actually shows up with Kareem, and they want to interrogate Rekka. Rekka gets killed by a sniper that's a few buildings away using like a fire arrow. It's pretty cool. Like, they conjure up an arrow with a bow and arrow out of straight up fire. And it looks like these are part of the evangelic people. And yeah, they destroy Rekka in one shot, even though he's encased in ice. And they're about to kill Kareem when Yan Li jumps in the way, pushes him out of the way, and loses his entire hand. Gets cut off clean. I was like, holy crap, this is getting crazy. So, luckily Shinra still has some power. He does a sandstorm to get everyone out of the way, or I guess conceal everyone. Tamaki uses her powers to distract the people, and Kareem freezes her flames. And luckily, it's enough for these people to escape. But I'm interested to see more about those guys. Who exactly are they? They wear like these white robes. There were two of them, and they look pretty menacing, because if they can one-shot someone like that, damn, that's impressive. So finally everything settles down. They realize that they have the same goal. Kareem knows that Fire Force Company 8 is essentially, they're looking into the other companies, trying to figure out, who's the cause of all this stuff. So Kareem's like, look, you want to stop these people as much as I do, let's join forces. Even though we'll be on separate companies, we can at least, essentially go and stop these people together if there's ever a mission where you guys figure out more information. Shinra agrees, obviously. So now we have not only Hibana from Fireworks Company 5, we have Kareem. I'm assuming Yan Li, if his hand is not going to totally make him immobile. I don't think it will. So we technically have a lot of people on our side now. Meanwhile, Tamaki is awaiting her punishment because obviously, even though Rekka lied to her, she still put all those kids in danger. So she's willing to accept it, and it pretty much ends the episode on that note where Kareem is telling Shinra, hey, look, we're going to work together and stop this bigger threat. And that's a nice way to end the episode, but it's not completed yet. So we get a post-credit scene, which is pretty interesting. We've had a few of those before in the series, but not many. And this gives us a lot more insight. So we're back at Fire Force Company 8. Shinra is back to, the old grind, doing whatever he has to do. And he's wondering where Arthur went. Because Arthur apparently, I was confused at this as well. Arthur got lost on the way to finding Kareem. Honestly, I don't know if he actually got lost or actually went his own way. I feel like it's the latter, knowing him, but or not to find Kareem, to follow Kareem to go to go fight Rekka. Yeah, so Arthur's out of the picture for now, but in his stead, they bring in Tamaki to Fire Force Company 8. She's been suspended from the first company for, obviously going along with Rekka's plans, even if it wasn't with bad intentions. And she's over here now working with them. And I figured this was going to be the case. I kind of semi-called this to where she kind of would be working with Fire Force Company 8 at some point because of the intro credits. So it's pretty cool to see that she's going to be part of the company, at least for the foreseeable future. But it ends up being a comedic moment where, well, first off, Shinra actually, tells everyone, oh, I'm really happy that I'm here. These people have become family to me. It really feels like a home now. I'm glad that I'm back in Fire Force Company 8. And I like that a lot. Again, when the characters actually gel well together instead of just being separate entities with their own personalities, I think it works better. And to me, just that family aspect is really cool in any type of show. So I'm glad that they brought more of that in. But we end the episode on a funny note where Shinra asks Tamaki for her number. It seems as though she has taken a liking to him. And I'm surprised, well, luckily Hibana wasn't in the room because that might have caused some actual sparks to fly. But Tamaki's like, sure, fine, I'll give you my number. But Shinra's like, okay, great, because I needed to give Juggernaut that, the guy from Fire Force Company 2. And Tamaki's like, are you kidding me? That's why you wanted it? And then there's another pervy moment to end the episode. And Shinra's just basically like, oh, great. Now I got Arthur out of my skin, but now I got this chick here. So that was a fun way to end the episode. And the next one, I think we're going to maybe, because we've had a bunch of action and story just driven stuff, we might be taking a break from the action and story stuff, but hopefully not. But overall, great episode. And, it just really gelled that action and story together, just like with other episodes in the past that I talked about before. So takeaways from this episode: really happy that the fight scenes are really well done in this anime. It really reminds me, I keep saying this, but it reminds me of Avatar Last Airbender with the fire bending. It's just really cool, like the way they whip around the flames with their feet and their punches just carry an impact. It just, oh man, I love it. The only thing I can say is the fight scenes are pretty short and they're pretty one-sided so far. I haven't really seen a fight where two people are clashing, bam, bam, one after the other, trying to outpower one another. I want to see more of that in this anime. Or maybe someone does get overpowered, but then they have to struggle through to call in, some type of energy to win, or maybe just lose and come back stronger. I want to see more of that. Hopefully they do implement that. And I'm curious to see what this connection with Soul that Shinra has is all about, because clearly he has some potential there. And I know a lot of people are going to get mad because it's the shonen trope of, oh, a person has hidden power, they just need to unlock it. But I like it. I think it's going to, it adds a mystery and adds a layer of, ooh, what's going to happen, potentially a few seasons from now if this anime continues on. The team is growing, and I'm really happy about that. We have not only Hibana now, but we have Tamaki, and Kareem is also going to be helping us out. Maybe Yanli as well. And that's going to be awesome, because if there's ever my hope for this, and I haven't read the manga, so if any of you guys have read the manga, please no spoilers below. I'm hoping that maybe they could have some giant Fire Force company brawl where like someone from each Fire Force company comes in, they're all joining a team against this more powerful enemy, maybe the evangelic people or maybe someone else. It would be awesome. But the fact that the team is growing and they all seem pretty friendly with one another is awesome, and I really can't wait to see more people joining into the team. I don't want it to get too giant, but maybe like one person from each Fire Force company would be really cool, which I don't even know how many there are. Is it like 10, or I don't know if they've ever stated that. Maybe I have to look that up. But whatever the case, hopefully like maybe at least one per Fire Force company, and like a final battle season finale type thing would be pretty epic. And finally, well, learning about the bigger threat, these evangelic people, they want to turn the freaking world into a second sun. That's crazy to even think about, but they're going to try to do it. So I'm really happy that we're actually getting a bigger threat. It's not just condensed stuff about, oh, look, this is the next villain of the week. No, now we have a bigger goal to work towards. And I hope that they pull this off well. I want to see more about these people, what they can do, what they, are they third generations, or are they people who've been alive for a long time? What exactly is going on with them, and where are they really, I guess, originating from and whatnot? So we'll see more of that in the future, hopefully. And yeah. But yeah, guys, that's my review on Fire Force episode 9. I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed this review, and I'm hoping that next week we get something crazy with The Promise. That's the episode title. So we'll see more about Fire Force in the coming weeks. If you guys enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notifications, and leave comments on what you thought of the episode below. I'll be sure to try to reply to them as best I can before next week, or maybe even in next week's episodes. If you have any questions or thoughts on the show, let me know, and I'll be glad to interact with you guys. That being said, this has been RZ. I've been in the Gobuku Studios, and I'll see you guys next week for the next Fire Force review. As for right now, I'll see you then. Peace out.